welcome. I see my lovely friend Ann Marshall, who has seen all of the episodes, I believe, and is back applauding. If indeed you want to applaud at the end of the episodes, we are having 2 this evening. You may unmute yourself and do so if you are so moved. My name is Rachel Murdy. I am the director and conceiver of this project. We have an all-female cast doing Henrik Ibsen's A Dollhouse in a way you've never seen it before. We are doing 2 episodes of a Zoom soap opera version of A Dollhouse. Episode 4 and episode 5 conclude Act 2. And is there anything else I have to say? We'll have time for questions or comments after episode 5. And I want to apologize for the late start this evening. We had some Zoom sending link confusion and technical problems, but we're here and I'm so pleased you're joining us. Each episode is about 20 minutes, so relax and enjoy A Dollhouse a la Home with the Helmers. And now, the continuing story of Home with the Helmers, brought to you by Keeler and Peterson.
Yes, Torvald! I beg and implore you.
Have you really the courage to begin that again?
Yes. Yes, for my sake. You must let Krogstad keep his place in the bank.
My dear Nora, it's his place I intend for Mrs. Linden.
So good of you, but instead of Krogstad, you could dismiss some other clerk.
Why, this is incredible obstinacy. Because you thoughtlessly promised to put in a good word for him, I am to...
That, Torvald, it's for your own sake. This man writes for the most scurrilous newspapers. You said so yourself. He could do you such a lot of harm. I am mortally afraid of him.
Oh, I understand. It's old recollections that are frightening you.
What do you mean?
Of course, you're thinking of your father.
Yes, of course. Well, only think of the shameful things that wicked people used to write about father. I believe they'd gotten him dismissed if you hadn't been sent to look into the thing and been kind to him and helped him.
My dear Nora, between your father and me, there is all the difference in the world. Your father was not altogether unimpeachable. I am, and I hope to remain so.
No one knows what wicked men may hit upon. We could live so happily now. In our cozy, quiet home, you and I and the children. Torvald, that is why I beg and implore you.
And it's just by pleading his cause that you make it impossible for me to keep him. It's already known at the bank that I intend to dismiss Krogstad. If it were now reported that the new manager let himself be turned round his wife's little finger.
What then?
Oh, nothing. So long as a willful woman can have her way, I am to make myself the laughingstock of everyone and set people saying I am under petticoat government. Take my word for it, I should soon feel the consequences. And besides, there's one thing that makes Krogstad impossible for me to work with.
What thing?
I could perhaps have overlooked his shady character at a pinch.
Yes, couldn't you, Torvald?
And I hear he's good at his work. But the fact is, he was a college chum of mine. There was one of those rash friendships between us that one so often repents of later. I don't mind confessing it. He calls me by my Christian name, and he insists on doing it even when others are present. He delights in putting on airs of familiarity. Torvald here, Torvald there. I assure you, it's most painful to me. He would make my position at the bank perfectly unendurable.
Torvald, you're not serious.
No, why not?
That's such a petty reason.
Why? Petty? You consider me petty?
No. Well, not on the contrary, Torvald dear, and that is just why
Never mind. You call my motives petty, then I must be petty too. Petty. Very well. We'll put an end to this once and for all. Ellen,
What do you want?
to settle the thing. There, take this letter, give it to a messenger. See that he takes it at once. The address is on it. Here is the money.
Very well.
There, Madam Obstinacy.
Torvald, what was in that letter?
Krogstad's dismissal.
Call it back again, Torvald. There's still time. Oh, Torvald, get it back again. For my sake. For your own, for the children's sake. Do you hear, Torvald? You don't know what that letter may bring upon us all.
Too late.
Yes, it's too late.
My dear Nora, I forgive your anxiety, though it's anything but flattering to me. Why should I be afraid of a blackguard scribbler's spite? But I forgive you all the same, for it's a proof of your great love for me. That's how it should be, Nora. Let what will happen. When the time comes, I shall have strength and courage enough. You shall see. My shoulders are broad enough to bear the whole burden.
What do you mean by that?
The whole burden, I'd say.
That you shall never, never do.
Very well. Then we will share it, Nora, as man and wife. Are you satisfied now? Come. Don't look like a scared dove. It's all nothing. Fancy. Now you must play the tarantella through and practice the tambourine. I shall sit in my inner room and shut both doors so that I shall hear nothing. You can make as much noise as you please. And when Rank comes, just tell him where I'm to be found.
He would do it. Yes, he would do it. He would do it in spite of all the world. No, never that. Anything rather than that. Oh, for some way to escape. What to do? Dr. Rank. Anything rather than that. Anything. Good afternoon, Dr. Rank. I knew you by your knock. But you mustn't go into Torvald now. I believe he's busy.
And you?
Oh, you know very well I've always time for you.
Thank you. I shall avail myself of your kindness for as long as I can.
What do you mean? As long as you can.
Yes? Does that frighten you?
I think it's an odd expression. Do you expect anything to happen?
We will return to Home with the Helmers after this brief message from our sponsor, Keeler and Peterson. Keeler and Peterson, inspired sweets since 1879. Keeler and Peterson's macaroons come in sugar-free and fat-free. And did you know that Keeler and Peterson's fat-free and sugar-free macaroons are good for you? Yes, Keeler and Peterson's macaroons are full of vitamins and nutrients, a delicious treat for a healthy body. So go ahead, nibble a macaroon or two. Keeler and Peterson. We now return to Home with the Helmers.
Do you expect anything to happen?
Something I have been long prepared for, but I did not think it would come so soon.
What is it, Dr. Rank? You must tell me.
I am running downhill. There's no help for it.
It's you.
Well, who else should it be? Why lie to oneself? I am the most wretched of all my patients, Mrs. Helmer. I've been auditing my life account. Bankrupt. Before a month is over, I shall lie rotting in the churchyard.
What an ugly way to talk.
The thing itself is so confoundedly ugly, you see. But the worst of it is, there are so many other ugly things to be gone through first. There is one last investigation to be made, and when that is over, I shall know exactly when the breakup will begin.
You're perfectly unreasonable today, and I did so want you to be in a really good humor.
With death staring me in the face, and to suffer thus for another's sins, where's the justice of it? And in every family you can see some such inexorable retribution.
Nonsense. Now, cheer up.
Well, after all, the whole thing's only worth laughing at. My poor innocent spine must do penance for my father's wild oats.
I suppose he was too fond of asparagus and Strasbourg pâté, wasn't he?
Yes, yes, and truffles.
Yes, truffles, to be sure. And oysters, I believe.
Yes, oysters. Oysters, of course.
And all the port and champagne. It's sad to think all these good things should attack the spine.
Especially when the spine attack never had any good of them.
Yes, that's the worst of it. Why did you smile?
No, it was you that laughed.
No, it was you that smiled, Dr. Rank.
You were deeper than I thought.
I'm in such a crazy mood today.
So it seems.
Oh, dear Dr. Rank, death shall not take you away from Torvald and me.
Oh, you shall easily get over the loss. The absent are soon forgotten.
You think so?
People make fresh ties, and
Who makes fresh ties?
you and Helmer will when I'm gone. You yourself are taking time by the forelock, it seems to me. What was that Mrs. Linden doing here yesterday?
Oh, you're surely not jealous of Kristin.
Yes, I am. She will be my successor in this house when I'm gone. This woman will perhaps...
She's in there.
Today as well? You see?
Only to put my costume in order. How unreasonable you are. Now, do be good, Dr. Rank. Tomorrow we shall see how beautifully I dance, and you may fancy I'm doing it all to please you. And of course, Torvald as well. Dr. Rank, come here, and let me show you something.
What is it?
Look here.
Silk stockings.
Flesh-colored. Aren't they lovely? Well, it's so dark here now, but tomorrow... No, you may only look at the feet. Oh, well, I suppose you may look at the rest too. What are you looking so critical about? Do you think they won't fit me?
Well, I can't possibly have any valid opinion on that point.
For shame. Take that.
And what other wonders am I to see?
Well, you shan't see any more if you don't behave nicely.
When I sit here, gossiping with you, I simply can't imagine what would have become of me if I had never entered this house.
Yes, I do think you feel at home with us.
And now to have to leave it all.
Nonsense. You shan't leave us.
And not to be able to leave behind the slightest token of gratitude. Scarcely even a passing regret, nothing but an empty place that can be filled by the first comer.
And if I were to ask you for... No.
For what?
For a great proof of your friendship?
Yes.
No, I mean... for a very, very great service.
Would you really for once make me so happy?
You don't know what it is.
Then tell me.
No, I really can't. It's far, far too much. It's not only a service, but help and advice besides.
So much the better. I can't think what you mean, but go on. Don't you trust me?
As I trust no one else. I know you are my best and truest friend. Well then, Dr. Rank, you must help me to hinder something. You know how deeply, how wonderfully Torvald loves me. He would not hesitate a moment to give his life for my sake.
Nora, do you think he is the only one who...
Who
would gladly give his life for you?
Oh.
I have sworn that you shall know it before I go. I should never find a better opportunity. Yes, Nora, now you know it. And now you know, too, that you can trust me as you can no one else. Nora?
Ellen? Bring in the lamp. Oh dear, Dr. Rank, that was too bad of you.
That I have loved you as deeply as anyone else? Was that too bad of me?
No, but that you should tell me so. So unnecessary.
What do you mean? Did you know? Nora... Mrs. Helmer, I ask you, did you know?
How can I tell what I knew or didn't know? I really can't say. How could you be so clumsy? Dr. Rank, it was all so nice.
Well, At any rate, you know now that I am yours, soul and body, and now go on.
Go on now.
I beg you, tell me what you want.
I can tell you nothing now.
Yes, yes. You mustn't punish me in that way. Let me do whatever a man can.
You really can do nothing for me now. Besides, I really want no help. You see, it was just my fancy. Yes, it must be so, of course. You're a nice one, Dr. Rank. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Now the lamp's on the table.
No, not exactly. But perhaps I ought to go. Forever.
Oh, indeed, you mustn't. Of course, you must come and go as you've always done. You know very well Torvald cannot do without you.
Yes, but you.
Oh, you know I always like to have you here.
Well, that's just what led me astray. You're a riddle to me. It has often seemed to me as if you liked being with me almost as much as being with Helmer.
Yes, don't you see? There's some people one loves and others one likes to talk to.
Yes, there's something to that.
When I was a girl, I naturally loved Papa best, but it always delighted me to steal into the servants' room. In the first place, they never lectured me, and in the second, it was such fun to hear them talk.
Oh, I see. Then it's their place I have taken.
Dr. Rank, I don't mean that, but you understand. With Torvald, he was with Papa.
Please, ma'am.
Ah,
Anything wrong?
no, not in the least. It's just, it's my new costume.
Why, it's there.
Well, that one, yes, but it's another that I ordered it. Torvald mustn't know.
Aha, so that's the great secret.
Yes, of course. Do just go to him. He's in the inner room, and do keep him as long as you can.
Make yourself easy. He shan't escape.
Is he waiting in the kitchen?
Yes, he came up the back stair.
Didn't you tell him I was engaged?
Yes, but it was no use.
He won't go away.
No, ma'am, not until he has spoken with you.
Then let him in, but quietly. And Ellen, say nothing about it. It's a surprise for my husband.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I understand.
It's coming. Coming after all? No. Never. It can never be. It shall not. Speak quietly. My husband is at home.
All right. I don't care.
What do you want?
A little information.
Be quick then. What is it?
You know I have got my dismissal.
I could not prevent it, Mr. Krogstad. I fought for you to the last, but it was no good.
Does your husband care for you so little? He knows what I can bring upon you, and yet he dares.
This concludes episode 4 of Home with the Helmers. Please continue to tune in for episode 5. Thank you so much. So that was episode 4. And now we're going to reset a bit for episode 5. This is BB right here, who decided that she needed to move, so I'm showing her. Alan is here. Alan, my assistant, incredible creative person, an actor, but of course we don't have a role for him in this play because we're doing an all-female cast. Alan, will you spotlight yourself so we can see you? Have you already done so? Hello, this is Alan, our Zoom stage manager and my assistant. And another man behind the curtain is Peter Szep, who you enjoyed his piano playing. He's my longtime collaborator. We do cabaret together. And now we're going to do a little bit of a reset on a technical sound issue, right, Alan?
Yep, we're just going to check and see if the piano sounds good.
Sounds pretty good to me. All right, very good. And so if you all are set, if you don't need to get into the kitchen and get your macaroons for episode 5, if you're all set up with your beverages and your macaroons, I think we'll just start right in to episode 5. All right, here we go. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Peter. And now, the continuing story of Home with the Helmers, brought to you by Keeler and Peterson.
Is he waiting in the kitchen?
Yes, he came up the back stair.
Didn't you tell him I was engaged?
Yes, but it was no use.
He won't go away.
No, ma'am, not until he has spoken with you.
Then let him come in, but quietly. And Ellen, say nothing about it. It's a surprise for my husband.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I understand.
It's coming. It's coming after all. No, 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 it can never be. It shall not. Speak quietly. My husband is at home.
All right. I don't care.
What do you want?
A little information.
Be quick then. What is it?
You know I've got my dismissal.
I could not prevent it, Mr. Krogstad. I fought for you to the last, but it was no good.
Does your husband care for you so little? He knows what I can bring upon you, and yet he dares.
Think that I could tell him.
I knew very well you hadn't. It wasn't like my friend Torvald Helmer to show so much courage.
Krogstad, be good enough to speak respectfully of my husband.
Certainly. With all due respect. But since you're so anxious to keep the matter secret, I suppose you're a little clearer than yesterday as to what you've done.
Clearer than you could ever make me.
Yes, such a bad lawyer as I.
Is it that you want?
Only to see how you were getting on, Mrs. Helmer. I've been thinking of you all day. A mere money lender, a penny a liner, in short, a creature like me, has a little bit of what people call heart.
Then show it. Think of my little children.
Did you and your husband think of mine? But enough of that. I only wanted to tell you that you needn't take this matter too seriously. I shan't lodge any information for the present.
Surely not. I knew you would not.
The whole thing can be settled quite quietly. Nobody need know. It can remain among us 3.
My husband must never know.
How can you prevent it? Can you pay off the debt?
No, but not all at once.
Or have you any means of raising the money in the next few days?
None that I will make use of.
And if you had, it would do you no good now. If you offered me ever so much ready money, you should not get back your IOU.
Tell me what you want to do with it.
I only want to keep it. To have it in my possession. No outsider shall hear anything of it. So if you've got any desperate scheme in your head,
What if I have?
if you should think of leaving your husband and children,
What if I do?
or if you should think of something worse,
How did you know that?
put all of that out of your head.
How did you know what I had in my mind?
Most of us think of that at first. I thought of it too, but I had not the courage.
Nor I.
No. One hasn't. You haven't the courage either, have you?
I haven't. I haven't.
Besides, it would be very silly. When the first storm is over, I have a letter in my pocket for your husband.
Telling him everything?
Sparing you as much as possible.
We will return to the continuing story of Home with the Helmers after this message from our sponsor, Keeler and Peterson. Keeler and Peterson, inspired sweets since 1879. You know that Keeler and Peterson's macaroons are available in sugar-free and fat-free. And now, Keeler and Peterson's macaroons are available with added caffeine. Yes, when you need that extra kick in your step to keep you dancing through your day. Keeler and Peterson. Go ahead. Nibble a macaroon or two. We now return to Home with the Helmers.
Telling him everything?
Sparing you as much as possible.
He must never have that letter. Tear it up. I will get the money somehow.
Pardon me, Mrs. Helmer, but I believe that I told you.
Talking about the money I owe you. Tell me how much you demand from my husband. I'll get it.
I demand no money from your husband.
What do you demand then?
I'll tell you. I want to regain my footing in the world. I want to rise, and your husband shall help me to do it. For the last 18 months, my record has been spotless. I've been in bitter need all the time, but I was content to fight my way up, step by step. Now I've been thrust down, and I won't be satisfied with merely being allowed to sneak back again. I want to rise, I tell you. I must get into the bank again in a higher position than before. Your husband shall create a place on purpose for me.
You'll never do that.
He will do it. I know him. He won't dare refuse. And when I'm in, you'll soon see. I shall be the manager's right hand. It won't be Torvald Helmer, but Nils Krogstad, that manages the joint stock bank.
That will never be.
Perhaps you'll...
Now I have the courage for it.
Oh, you don't frighten me. A sensitive, petted creature like you.
You shall see. You shall see.
Under the ice, perhaps? Down in the cold, black water? And next spring to come up again. Ugly, hairless, unrecognizable.
You can't terrify me.
Nor you me. People don't do that sort of thing, Mrs. Helmer. And after all, what good would it be? I have your husband in my pocket, all the same.
Afterwards? When I'm no longer...
You forget. Your reputation remains in my hands. Now you are prepared. Do nothing foolish. So soon as Helmer has received my letter, I shall expect to hear from him. And remember that it is your husband himself who has forced me back again into such paths. That I will never forgive him. Goodbye, Mrs. Helmer.
He's going. He's not putting the letter in the letterbox. No, it would be impossible. What's that? He's standing still. He's not going down the stairs. Is he changing his mind? Is that... In the letterbox. There it lies. Torvald. Now we are lost.
There now. I think it's all right. Shall we just try it on?
Kristin! Come here.
What's the matter? Oh, you look quite aghast.
Come here. Do you see that letter? There, see? Through the glass of the letterbox.
Oh, yes. Yes, I see it.
That letter is from Krogstad.
Nora, it was Krogstad who lent you the money?
Yes. And now Torvald will know everything.
Oh, believe me, Nora, it is the best thing for you both.
You don't know all yet. I have forged a name.
Oh, good heavens.
Now, listen to me, Kristin. You shall bear me witness.
How, witness? What am I to...
So out of my mind, it might easily happen.
Nora!
Or if anything else should happen to me, so that I couldn't be here myself.
Nora, you are quite beside yourself.
If anyone wants to take it on upon himself, all upon himself, the whole blame, you understand?
Yes, but how can you think
You
that...
shall bear me witness that it's not true, Kristin. I am not out of my mind at all. I know quite well what I'm saying, and I tell you, nobody else knew anything about it. I did the whole thing myself. Don't forget that.
I won't forget, but I don't understand what you mean.
How could you? It's the miracle coming to pass.
The miracle?
Yes, the miracle. But it's so terrible. Kristin, it mustn't happen for anything in the world.
I will go straight to Krogstad and talk to him.
No, don't. He will do you some harm.
Once he would have done anything for me.
He?
Where does he live?
How can I tell? Yes, here's his card. The letter.
Nora,
Ah, what is it? What do you want?
don't be frightened. We're not coming in. You bolted the door. Are you trying on your dress?
Yes, I'm trying it on. It suits me so well, Torvald.
Then he lives close by here?
Yes, but it's no use now. The letter is actually in the box.
And your husband has the key?
Always.
Krogstad must ask for his letter back unread. He must make some excuse.
This is the very time when Torvald generally...
Prevent him. Keep him occupied. I'll come back as quickly as I can.
Torvald?
Well, now, may one come back into one's own room? Come, Rink, we'll have a look. But how's this?
What, Torvald dear?
Frank led me to expect a grand dressing up.
So I understood. I suppose I was mistaken.
No. No one shall see me in my glory until tomorrow evening.
Why, Nora, dear, you look so tired. Have you been practicing too hard?
No, I haven't practiced at all yet.
But you'll have to.
Yes, it's absolutely necessary. But Torvald, I can't get on without your help. I've forgotten everything.
Oh, we'll soon freshen it up again.
Yes, do help me, Torvald. You must promise me. I'm so nervous about it before so many people. This evening, you must give yourself up entirely to me. You mustn't do a stroke of work. Now promise me, Torvald dear.
I promise. All this evening I will be your slave. Little helpless thing. But by the by, I must first...
Oh, wait, what do you want there?
Only to see if there are any letters.
Oh, no, don't do that, Torvald.
Why not?
Torvald, I beg you not to. There are none there.
Let me just see.
I can't dance tomorrow if I don't rehearse with you first.
Are you really so nervous, dear Nora?
Dreadfully. Let me rehearse at once. We have time before dinner. Oh, do sit down and accompany me. Torvald dear, direct me as you used to do.
With all the pleasure in life, if you wish.
Now, play for me. And now, I'll dance.
Slower! Slower!
I can't do it any slower.
Not so violently, Nora!
I must. I must.
Nora, that'll never do.
Didn't I tell you so?
Let me accompany her.
Yes, do, then I can direct her better.
Mm-hmm.
Christine! Like Nora, you're dancing as if it were a matter of life and death.
Oh, it is.
Frank, stop. Nearest planets. Stop, I say! Couldn't have believed it. You've positively forgotten all I taught you.
You see for yourself.
You really do want teaching.
Yes. You see how much I need it. You must practice with me up to the last moment. Will you promise me, Torvald?
Certainly, certainly.
Neither today nor tomorrow must you think of anything but me. You mustn't open a single letter. You mustn't look at the letterbox.
You are still afraid of that man.
Oh, yes, I am.
Nora, I can see it in your face. There's a letter from him in the box.
I don't know. I believe so. But you're not to read anything now. Nothing must come between us until it is all over.
You mustn't contradict her.
The child shall have her own way. But tomorrow night, when the dance is over,
Then you will be free.
Dinner is ready, ma'am.
We'll have some champagne, Ellen.
Yes, ma'am.
dear me, quite a feast.
Yes, and we'll keep it up till morning. And macaroons, Ellen. Plenty. Just this once.
Come, don't let's have this wild excitement. Be my own little lark again.
Yes, I will. But now go into the dining room. And you too, Dr. Rank. Kristin, you must help me to do up my hair.
There is nothing in the wind? Nothing? I mean...
No, nothing of the kind. It's merely this babyish anxiety I was telling you about.
Well?
He's gone out of town.
I saw it in your face.
He comes back tomorrow evening. I left a note for him.
I shouldn't have done that. Things must take their course. After all, there's something glorious in waiting for the miracle.
What are you waiting for?
Oh, we can understand. Go to them in the dining room. I'll come in a moment. Five. 7 hours till midnight. And then 24 hours till the next midnight. And then the tarantella will be over. 24 and 7. Still 31 hours left to live.
What's become of my little lark?
Here she is.
Join us next time for episode 6.